Hello and welcome back to our continued playthrough of Junkyard Builder. As you can see, we've made some good progress during our playthrough. So I've been recording videos in real time and trying to balance them out between progressing through the current main tasks as soon as we could and a bit of yard management as well. So just to broadly recap, we've got our vehicles and furniture that we can restore and make some good cash. And so for the vehicles, there's some rusty ones that you can use an angle grinder to get all the rust off and paint them. As you can see here, these were already painted and it's just a case of finding the missing parts to those vehicles. So we've got quite a pile of things here for the ARPUS. Unfortunately, none of them are the bits that we need. So we need, what do we need? We need the front bumper. Looks like it might be missing. But we definitely need some wheels. So for the other vehicles, they are the standard wheels, which we have from the outset, just the car wheels. We had quite a pile of them already in the yard. And we actually sold just the carcasses of one of these humpbacks and coupes just to get us to the $3,000 mark so that we could buy the next piece of equipment on our list, which was this fella. So this is the scrap or the metal press, scrap press. Got it right third time. And that enables us to make these blocks of scrap here. And the reason that I'm not selling them straight away is that I believe the next thing is like a kind of smelting machine where you can refine it further and make more money. But that being said, we need to buy a container next, and they range from either 3,000 to 6,000. That's quite a lot of dollars, and so we are going to have to sell some stuff. In terms of the different machines that we have, I'll go along them here. So we've tried to line them up with the relevant dumpsters next to them. So that's a wooden one, and we don't have a wood dumpster. That's the reason we don't have one. But each of these, so the wood, the paper and the plastic, they will all require 3 items of the relevant material, so 3 plastic items, and they will then produce these bales that we see at the back. So let's go and grab one. And we can then, so that's worth $60 that we can pop into the back there. And what we did in the last video is we put 3 of the very big metal bars into the container or into the press to see whether we got more value out of it. But if we have a look at these, they are all 100. So regardless of what we put in, regardless of what the cost is, we're going to get the same output. So because we need 5 items to crush it into a block, and we're only going to get 100, it's really pointless putting anything less there than, anything more than $20 per item, because we need 5, and it's going to cost us 100 to make 100. So there's not much margin in the metal actually, and I thought perhaps there would be, but it is pretty much the only material that we have left around our yard at the moment. So we're going to need to get through a bit of work to be able to buy one of those containers. So let's just have a little scout around, see if we've got anything we can restore. So we had the medium dresser, but only 2 left drawers, so that's not an option. That was small drawers. They don't need to be specific, but it does look like that perhaps needs a door on the front. And to be able to restore these, what we've got to do is we've got to do all of the pieces individually. So where we've got a kind of, what have we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got at least a 5-door unit there. That's going to be a little bit of time needed to do that. Again on this one, so we've got the bottom drawer and top drawer. Okay. I don't exactly know what the door is for. So let's take this over and let's see what's what. First thing we're going to have to do is, because we already have a drawer in there, we won't be able to restore it with it in. Oh, need to take that out. That's gone a bit wrong. Oh, now it's taken the whole thing out. Okay, that was a bit awkward. Pop that into the restoration area. So we had that one. Let's take the other drawers as well. So that's the top drawer, is it? Let's just pop that down. That's the bottom drawer. Get that in there. So we didn't have the middle drawer. Okay. Where does the door go? Just out of interest, is that going to go on the front once we've got all the drawers on? So if it turns green, that's odd. So that isn't actually part of it. So it says it's an Eldorian. Try that again. Eldorian. But it doesn't look like the door actually goes on that unit. So we're not going to be able to restore that one completely. I mean, I could still prep this, but I want to be able to try and make a bit of money as well. So what I think we need to do, which it's an approach I've taken that's quite successful. Let's just put this in so we can at least get the bits that we can insert in there. But at least get the drawers that we can put into place. So we needed the top drawer. That's over there. Yeah, if we can make $200, well, actually, ideally 500, and that would mean that we could get back to the residential area. Now, the top drawer was here, wasn't it? We were refurbing that. Not done that the most efficient way. Put that over there. So I haven't seen anything yet that indicates that any of the bricks dotted around the yard are going to be useful for anything. You'd think everything would kind of have a use. Okay, so unfortunately it doesn't look like we are going to be able to, even though we've got piles and piles of stuff, apart from the small cabinet, which isn't going to make us an awful lot of money. We're not really going to be able to make anything to the left drawer, left drawer, left drawer. So we can't complete that one either, unfortunately. We can't complete any of the vehicles. And making the metal isn't very lucrative, but that's about the only option that we've got at the moment. So it does require the most materials. And it doesn't, I mean, 100's still not bad. So hopefully when we get our next delivery, which it looks like we've had one, so the counter down there at the back of the yard, that's currently on 30. We could have a look at what the upgrades would cost. So if we go to delivery point upgrades, then we can either have a larger delivery. where we get 15 items. That's going to cost us 3,000. Delivery time goes down in 5 minutes, which is not massively huge straight away. Don't know why you would want to hold the delivery. That doesn't seem like something that I would want to do. What else is there? Oh, that's our car upgrades. It would have been, I mean, it does highlight a little bit on the left hand side, but it only makes it a slightly lighter grey when you go to the relevant one. So yeah, I'm not sure. That's a shame. I mean, if we could we got to unlock them in sequence. That's going to cost a few quid. Let's have a look at our truck upgrades. So we can go from 10 to 15 items. And that looks like perhaps it's a bigger truck. And that could be useful because when we spent $500 to go to the residential area, there were some high value items there. Okay, tool chest. We can't do anything with. That's a quick flip. Let's get that into... Oh, we've moved the metal down here, didn't we? For our metal press there. Get that in. $80. Should have brought the cart over to move all this stuff actually. So we did have some other recyclables there. Blue pine cabinet base. We got a couple of bits of cardboard that we can get into the paper press. Let's go ahead and do that. So these are 3 items. Each of them is going to take 4 minutes to do its cycle. A gas heater, because it's mixed materials, we can't directly scrap this. We're going to have to put it into storage and then sell it. So there is money to be made from the vehicles. We could get 860 for that one and 795 for that, but I'm trying to avoid selling the cars at the moment. Right, let's get... So we're going to have to, as you'd expect, we're going to have to do some tasks. You can't expect the game to get a little bit more grindy at some point, otherwise you'd just be literally rifling through it and not get your hours of playtime. So we can put mixed materials in here, so we will do that actually. So anything apart from the restorable stuff we'll put into the cart here so we can take it over to the machines. That's a Valderrama sideboard, door of small cabinet, a small cabinet base. So we have a car part there. That's just raw material, so we'll shift that in and we'll get rid of this metal as well. We need really to get $500, although for 200 we can get ourselves to the residential area, and we know we can pick up at least 5. Actually, we could just pick up, we know that, oh, that's full, that's why it's not going in. So each trash bag that we collect is $50. Just put these over here. And pop that in the middle. Yeah, each trash bag will get us $50. And we can get 10 at a time, but it'll cost us 200 to get there. The machine's still going, but so I think we are going to have to sell some of that scrap metal as well. I'm trying to think what's best. I think we're going to have to sell this, unfortunately, to get us towards our 500, because then we can get to the residential area, and hopefully there were some cars there. Oh, sorry, the scrapyard is 500. There were some cars there that are hopefully still there. That means that we can start making a bit of money. So we've got our 500 there from those bits of recycling. Let's head off. We established last time that we could get 2 vehicles into the back of the truck in its current size. So let's go off to the old junkyard. 500. And we can drive off. So straight away I can see what looks like a pretty pristine Arpus there. That again is missing the tyres, but in its current state that's going to get us 550, 475, 500. So the Moscoviches, there, we can restore them, but they're not going to make as much of a markup. Just have a little wander around the yard, see what else is what. Opus roof, driveway roof. So we seem to have just back bumpers. I think we needed a front bumper, didn't we, for the Harpers? So there's some of the tyres that we needed. Harpers. We don't seem to... the front. Well, there's no point in getting that, actually, because we need the wheels as well. So I think we needed another 3 wheels. So we've got 1 there. I don't know how much they're worth fully restored, actually. It'd be good to know. No, we can't get in there. I was just curious to see if I could. So clearly vehicles are going to be worth the most money, as you'd expect. So we'll get one of these in, and we'll just sell it straight away. Hopefully these do respawn, because otherwise, oops, that would be a shame. So let's try and get this put into the vehicle as well as we can. Pick up the whole thing. Try and defy the laws of physics. Well, it's, you know, it's working somehow. It's not though, because it's still highlighted, unfortunately. Okay. Made a bit of a pig's ear of this one. I think we might have broken the game. Not seen that before. Oh dear. No, we can't grab it. Well, we can't grab it from inside the truck. Okay, well, not sure what we're going to do there. Let's try and get the other one in. As long as it lets us drive it back to the yard, we should be good. Let's try and get this one in. We really have made a bit of a mess of this. Okay, there we go. That was a bit of a challenge. It's not often that I'm speechless, as you probably know. I was thinking that wasn't going to... Oh. Okay, let's not do that again. Try and get this. Into the vehicle. That's good, right? Yeah. Perfect. Exactly what you'd expect to see in a van. It's at least recognising that. Okay, we made a bit of a pig's ear of that. Coupe body 360. 500. If we can get this in. And I think we're doing well. I'm not convinced this is going to go, but we should give it a go. Okay, so don't ask me how, but we got that in. Okay, so individual items, a bin bag, although it's worth 15 there, each one we can convert into 50. So we want anything that will fit into the van that is more than $50 is worth prioritising. Otherwise we can just stack around with the bin bags. Okay, expert packing. If you'd like a home removal service, then just ignore this video. 75, happy with that, and we're only at 4 items here, so sometimes it's worth investing. Oops, always pressed the wrong button. It is worth investing a little bit of cash to make some cash, to make some bigger dollars. So we got a smaller toolbox over there that's 60, so anything more than 50 is going to be worth it. I'm not going to search through the bin bags because we did that in the residential area, and whilst there was a chance of cash in them in our yard, that's not the case on these other sites. So the locker was 60, but fairly chunky to try and get in. What else have we got around here? I would like to restore one of the offices completely, but we only have, so we've got one tyre there. All of the bumpers seem to be back bumpers. We're going to take that because we do need a front bumper, and that will leave us just needing the wheels. So although we're not going to sell it immediately, I think that's a good find. Oh, that was asking a bit too much there, apparently. Okay, that's just about in by hook or crook. I don't know whether it's worth picking the wheels up while we're here. We do need some doors for the coupe, and they're worth 100. So I'm going to take those. and hope that we can fit them in. So let's just do a little bit of rotation. And hope that we can get that in. Yep. What items we haven't? So we're on 8 out of 10. We'll take the other door, which this time is a back door. I'd like to be able to keep one of each type of vehicle at every store. Ideally, that's the aim by collecting these. And we got, oh, didn't press the button there. So we've got space for one more item after this. So what do we want to do? I'm tempted to take one of the wheels actually for the Arpus. It's quite pricey to get to this junkyard. Or do we want to maximise our cash? So I see a fire extinguisher there. That'll fit in, and that is, I think, 75. Yeah, okay. So we'll come back for the wheels. So I think, as I said in another video, not that all the bits that we need are here, but it'd be better to come back to the scrapyard once we know specifically what we are looking for each of the vehicles. Okay, back in the van, and we can just go ahead and reverse that. All the way back to the junkyard. So when we get back, it's automatically unloaded. We did well, I think, to get these all in. Oh my word. That something went a little bit funny there. So as you can see, we can't scrap these as they are. And I didn't need to buy the front bumper. Sorry, I didn't need to pick the front bumper up because there's one on this already. And I keep pressing the wrong button. So what might be worth doing here, although that one had the hood as well, I'm just going to, that will go straight into storage to sell. Oh, you know what I just realised is that I don't think once we've put them into storage we can get them back out again. And the one that I just sold did have a wheel on, I think. Could be wrong. So we can't disassemble it here. So let's pop that into here, and I'm going to take that wheel off. So we could, if I would have kept the other vehicle, I will see if I can get it back out of storage. I could potentially have had all of the wheels that I needed. So just before I pop that into storage, let's just make sure. That we had the bumper. Pretty sure that we picked that up, but better to be sure. Yes, we did. So, okay, let's pick that up. And we're going to pop that onto the vehicle along with that wheel that we just collected. So we'll leave that there. And we're going to get the most complete version. Was not very smooth at all. Get that on there. We'll get the wheel on there. That is a shame because we knew there was a wheel on the yard, and I don't know whether, so we need two wheels. I don't know whether the one that I put into storage don't know how I can take things out of storage. I don't know whether you can. Oh, okay. So yeah, we can. Okay, that's good to know. So we can take items back out. So what we'll do then is we're going to have to alright, this is a bit awkward now. I was trying to grab okay, so not very finessed, I know. So trying to grab the whole thing rather than just a part of it, as you can probably see. I'm not doing a very good job of it. So let's take the wheel off this one. I thought it had a wheel on it. Okay, perhaps it didn't, must be me. I thought that when we put this into the warehouse, it had a wheel on. Clearly it didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, fair enough. Put that into storage. Try and pick the whole vehicle up rather than just part of it. We'll rotate that. So luckily it doesn't get damaged as we bang it around the environment. So that one, as far as you can see, is just missing one wheel. So I know it's not completed and the other ones are, but for now we're just going to pop it down there. Piece of metal there hiding, so just pick that up. Put it over there for now. So I made a bit of a meal of that, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. Where do we leave our cart? Not down there. So let's go and get the rest of the materials that we bought. We had our recyclables in the cart, didn't we? So the metal bits like this, we can just put into the dumpster to get that immediate 75. Same with this. There we go. We had the small toolbox and I think also a fire extinguisher, and then we'll sell those vehicle parts. So it might not feel like we've made an awful lot of progress there, but we have got to that point in the game where we're going to have to work a little bit harder for the cash and the upgrades. And we had the coupe door, is that right? Back doors, we had two doors there. We'll get this one on its merry way. So let's see what the most complete version is that we have over here. So that one has a hood. It doesn't have a boot. We do have a trunk there. It doesn't have any of the doors on. So it makes sense that this is the one then that we're going to sell. And pop that in. So we can then get this onto our assembly line there in typical bash around fashion. Get the trunk installed, get the two doors that we got. Oh, that didn't install it. Insert. Right, let's go and get the doors. Oh, we just had another collection. And it looked like it was a vehicle. So we get this on. Did we have the back doors already? Well, we didn't on the other, to be fair, so that's probably why I picked that up. Because we were working off the basis of the one that we had in the yard already. Let's have a little nose over here. So it looks like that one. Let's just pick it up for a second. Actually, other than I think the hood, the bonnet, it's just wheels, which we've got wheels. We don't need the left door. You've already got one. Mattress, we can upscale. Table. Yeah, more restoration projects. It would be nice to clear some of those cabinets, but as we know, we don't have all the pieces for it, unfortunately. So let's get that's not a back door, surely. It's got a wing mirror on it. Why does it not want me to insert that? That's definitely the front door. But it's not giving us the chance to insert it. So let's take this back off. Okay, so it's the mechanics have gone. I've not really had any experienced any bugs. It does seem that there's a problem with moving the vehicles. Try it from this angle. Yeah, it really isn't. It's not letting me take that off there, which is a bit of a problem. Yeah, it's not actually taking it off the restoration bit. Interesting. Not had that happen before. Let's try something else. Let's try rotating it. Nope. It is is I think we found the first bug, unfortunately. It's not even letting us take the component parts off. Okay, we'll come back to that. That's a shame. What we could do... I was going to try and put the tyres on, to be honest, but I'm not sure that's going to work. So it's not actually recognising it at all there for any of the parts. Which is, so let's just let's sell what we've got and hope that that sorts itself out. So we can sell all for 1,300. So we're trying to get to 3,000. It's definitely not liking this. That is going to cause us a problem. So you can see there that even the component parts, when I like try and take the hood off, it's definitely not working. Everything else seems in order. Not sure quite where we're at with our playtime at the moment. Try and keep the videos to about half an hour. So what I might need to do is save the game and hope that the mechanics kind of sort themselves out, for want of a better phrase. So we've now got two of these humpbacks. Everything else seems to be working okay. Just not that one. So in most of our videos we did make some kind of progress in terms of the machinery or a different option. So for this one we had a little drawn out to the other junkyard where we did a little bit of Tetris to get 3 vehicles into the back of the lorry here. So it cost us 500 to get there, and we've managed to sell those different parts for a pretty decent amount of cash, because the rest of the projects, as we'll see, are a bit more time consuming and not quite so lucrative. So it might be again that I need to make a couple of visits. What is this one? Is this I'll just rotate it. It's the same as that one, isn't it? It might be again that we need to go and do the same, is spend 500 to then go and harvest hopefully some decent cars or car parts to be able to make some cash. So I'll finish off this video here, but I'm going to carry on with my playthrough and we'll pick up straight from there. As always, please do give the videos a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, and I'm trying to build up the viewers on the channel at the minute, so every like, comment or subscribe is very much appreciated. I'll see you in the next episode.